During the early part of the life of our solar system, something happened called the Late Heavy Bombardment. But what was it, and how did it actually happen? The theory of how it occurred relates to the early formation of our solar system, so in order to understand it, we have to have a look at what happened a little bit earlier. We have the dust or cloud of matter that our solar system formed from. It started to spin in a disk known as an accretion disk. From this, the Sun formed at the centre, the rocky planets approximately where they are today, and then the gas planets formed closer to the Sun than they currently sit, and further out from them are the Kuiper belt objects. It's difficult to know for certain what happened next, but it's thought that the orbits of Saturn and Jupiter came synchronised, so that they pass each other on the same side of the Sun for a number of orbits. This then destabilised the orbits, eventually pushed them out further from the Sun, whilst eventually they and Neptune and Uranus eventually settled into their current stable positions. For some time they also destabilised the objects in the Kuiper belt, pushing some of them out of the solar system altogether, and pulling in a great many more others into the heart of the solar system. Because of the location, most of the Kuiper belt objects lack the heavier elements that the objects in the asteroid belt have, because they're closer to the Sun. So the iron, silicon, nickel that the asteroids have, the Kuiper belt objects are made from methane, ammonia and water. But again, because these objects are such a great distance from the Sun, all of these are frozen solid. Hence the description that most of these objects are of dirty snowballs. The disturbing of the Kuiper belt happened about 4 billion years ago. The Earth at that time had virtually finished forming, was either nearing the end of the cooling from a molten ball of rock, or actually cooled in a thin crust that formed on the outside of the planet. Whatever the exact conditions, it's certain that there was no life on Earth at that particular time, when it and the other rocky planets were subjected to the heavy bombardment of the objects from the Kuiper belt. To get an idea of the size and scale of the bombardment during this time, the Earth was probably struck by over 100 objects that were larger than the asteroid that may have caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. As well as those huge impacts, it had thousands of impacts which, if they occurred today, would have a devastating impact on the environment. Along with about 1 million smaller objects which would be less of an impact but still have left significant craters behind. All of these impacts had a significant change on the Earth, including changing the balance of chemicals at the surface. Now, there is a debate as to whether the addition of new supplies of water, methane and ammonia enabled the start of life on Earth, or whether the water needed came from ringwoodite beneath the Earth. But whatever the precise details, the additional supplies certainly would have been useful once the bombardment slowed down. Now, the evidence for the bombardment is visible on the surface of the Moon and Mars, which are both covered in craters dating from this period. But because of the Earth's active crust and weathering on the surface, there's no evidence of the actual bombardment remaining here on Earth. So that's the late heavy bombardment and how it affected, possibly, life on Earth.